シャンブルズルーム
So this is the OP06 plus the EB01 red purple lore list that I had come up with. I have tested it a little bit. It seems pretty good. I really like this Killer and Kid card. It is absolutely insane. There's no counter power. It's a 4 cost, so you can play it off Lore's leader ability. And it's a rush card. When attacking, if your opponent has 2 or less life cards, this character gains an additional 2,000 power until the end of your turn. So not only can you cheat it out with Lore's ability, but if your opponent has 2 life or less, it gains an extra 2,000 power, which becomes a 7k rush card. So absolutely insane card. It is from the EB01. Got Chopper. Chopper is a blocker. He is also from EB01. He is a 3 cost, so yes, yet again, you can cheat him out with the lore ability. Not only that, if you attach 2 Don to Chopper, when attacking, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during the turn. So he is a when attacking card and a blocker. He's actually pretty decent. He has counter power. I have used it in situations where I've minused it off a blocker. They ended up blocking with that blocker, and then I was able to get a few final blows through with cheating out the lore ability as well. We've still got Otama in there. She comes in clutch. Her on play, she's only 1 Don, minus 2,000 power to a character during the turn. She's also a 2k counter, so she works both ways. We have the Rush Zoro card, the 3 cost. He can be cheated out with the Allure ability, and he is also a rush card. 5,000 power, absolutely insane. Good for board pressure, good to put pressure on the opponent's characters or leaders. This one is the OP06 blocker. He's a 3 cost 4k with 1k counter power. This is an actually insane blocker. So I was playing a game earlier on where someone couldn't understand why he gained 3,000 power. It's when attacking, when blocking, once per turn. So it's either on my turn or the opponent's turn. This character's base power becomes the same as the power of your opponent's leader until the start of your next turn. So not only, let's say you made your leader 8k, he becomes 8k. Not only does that happen, but it's until the start of your next turn, so he still remains 8k until the start of my turn, which then is also good that it's harder to kill him off because I'm able to counter out of it, or you can't do many hits to him. But yeah, it's actually a pretty decent blocker. I have 4 of these Rise Max. It's in the OP06 set. He is exactly the same as Gordon. Activate main, you may place this character at the bottom of the owner's deck, give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 3,000 power during the turn. So I've got 4 of him, and I have 2 Gordons. The reason for 2 Gordons is I only own 2 Gordons. So if you find the list needs more Gordons, by all means chuck more Gordons in. I've only got 2, that's why there's only 2. Now this is out of the EB01. So this is an Impel Down Jailer Beast. I also find this would be a good card for Magellan as well. I am a Magellan player as well. So it's a 4 cost 5k power, no counter power. You can cheat him out with Lore's ability. On KO, if your leader has Impel Down type, add up to 1 Don card from your Don deck and rest it. So it's good for Magellan to be able to filter back through. In the Lore deck, I think it just comes in clutch just to have another rush card in there. Another 4 cost rush card. So I'm not too sure if I'll keep it in the deck or if I will put 4 Killers and 4 Zoros. So it's just a bit of a test at the moment, so I'd probably change it and make 4 Killers and 4 Zoro rush cards if I don't like it. So we have a 4 cost 1 K power, 1K counter power, blah blah. Mr. 2 Bond Clay. So his on play ability is add up to 1 Don from your deck as active. When attacking, choose up to one of your opponent's characters. This character has the same base power as the chosen character for this turn. So not only can you cheat him out with Law's ability, get back a Don like you would with the Kid Blocker, you can also, when attacking, mimic someone else's power, like the other character's power. And, you know, let's say if I mimic a 6K power. That's the base power, so he becomes 6K. So it's actually a pretty decent card. It's also probably a target as well. We have 3 Captain Kid Blockers. I can suggest that you can step it up to 4 if you would like to. The blocker, as everyone knows, is actually pretty decent. On your turn, once per turn, when a Don card from your field is returned to your deck, add 1 Don card from your Don deck as active. So you might return 3, but then you bring 1 back, so you only return 2, and depends what you play out, if you return more Don or not. We have 4 Vinsmoke. So this is Reggie Vinsmoke. So this is an OP06 card. If you have equal or less Don on your field than your opponent, and if you have 5 cards or less in your hand, draw 2 cards. So this actually comes in clutch to get more cards in hand. So instead of paying 5 Don, minusing a Don for Queen and draw 2, trash 2, or no, draw 2, trash 1, you just straight up draw 2 cards. It's one less cost, so it's a 4 cost, and you don't have to minus any Don back. So I think this is a lot better to get more hand resource. I put in 4 Sachi Penguins. So Sachi Penguin is actually a pretty decent card. 2K counter. If there are 3 or less Don on your field, you may add up to 2 Don from your deck set as rested. So when you play out Kid, this is a prime example. When you play out Kid, right, the blocker, you minus your 3 Don back, get rid of something, or you just want to play something else out. If you play out Sachi Penguin, not only do you get your 2 Don rested from that, but you get your 1 Don active from Kid. So you haven't lost any Don. So you're back at 5, but 1 active. So it's actually a pretty good card. I decided to leave Trafalgar Law blocker in just because you can make an opponent trash 2 cards if they've got 7 or more cards in hand. It's actually pretty decent. We've got Beppo still in here. On play when attacking, if the number of Don cards on your opponent's field is greater than the number of Don cards on your field, add 1 Don card from your deck, your Don deck, rested to your cost area. So you're bringing out a Don rested when attacking or on play. So I decided to keep that in, and I think I'm gonna keep that in. We have 2 Radical Beams. Everyone knows what Radical Beam does. It's a 1 cost counter. Your leader up to one of your characters gains 2,000 power during this battle. Then if you're at 2 or less life cards, that card gains an additional 2,000 power during this battle. And it has a trigger to give a leader or character 1,000 power during the turn. So this is the Red Purple Law deck. We're going up against Green Uta, ST11 deck that's just recently come out. We might keep this. This deck isn't actually too bad. I've been playing the Green Uta deck. It's quite solid, in my opinion. So we'll attack for 5. Okay, so we've attacked for 5. We'll play out the blocker, I think. We're going to return 3. 1, 2, 3. KOing their blocker and playing out Beppo. We'll end turn. So if we can keep Beppo alive, we can keep bringing our Don out. I know once they get to the 9, around the 9 Don, they're going to want to drop the 8 cost kid to use as their defense wall. So knowing that 8 cost kid is in this deck, I kind of want to keep any minus cards in hand until then. So they're swinging 9k into my 5k, right? They've got no more swings left. I will block. And I will go to 10. Draw card. Draw Don. Alright, so they're at 8. So let's attack. 5. So they're at 7. Let's play out Zorro. Let's -3. I know it's going to hurt me a bit. Alright, so we've still got 2 attacks that we can do. 2 5k attacks into Uda. Got no Don, but we managed to knock cards out of their hand. And they're down to 2 life. They're at 6. So they got 8's their next turn. Then 10's their next turn. So we need to try and kill them in the next turn. I find this new Genesis card actually pretty decent. You don't lose a Don at all. And they've disconnected. Okay. They didn't really have much to play, I'm guessing. They played 4. They could, yeah. Swing it to one of them. I block, counter. They didn't have much counter power in hand either. Which that's a downside about Uda that I found is not enough counter power in hand.